Today we're going to take a look at classes. Classes are the core of the Java language. It's the basis of all object-oriented programming as it relates to Java. In the last video, we took a look at one class that was used to encapsulate the main menu. That was our hello class. If we take a look at the general structure of a class, you can see that it starts with the class keyword, followed by a class name. Within that class, we have instance variables as well as methods. Methods and variables together define what a class is, and they're called members of a class. This is an example of a simple player class. Let's take a look at how we can code one of these. In the last video, we took a look at creating a variable called hello, and it contains hello world. In this video, we're going to take a deeper look into what classes are and how they can be best implemented. So over here, I'm going to go ahead and create a new file, and I'm just going to call it player. And we know that worked because it has the player Java here. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, accepting that I want a class called player. Now within this class, let's create a couple new variables. So I'm going to make one called integer, and it's going to be of health. And these are just attributes that I think a player might have. The player might have strength. And really it could be player character, but let's just for now keep it generic. So we have health, we have strength, and we can do maybe movement speed for our player. So now if I save this, we've now created a class called player. Now, how do we use this in the game? Well, if we go up to our Hello World Java class here, this is our main class. Outside of our main function here, we can actually define other attributes, or we can actually within the main function, we can create an object that's of player type. So let's say, for example, my player, so here's my player, reference to my player class, and that is a type, right? And this player is a orc. And I'm going to say equals new player. And what we just did is we created a object of type orc that can access all of this cool stuff that we have inside of here. So for example, right from the get-go, I can now say orc dot, and you can see I have health equals 100, orc dot, and you can see movement speed equals 20, and then orc dot strength is 50. Oops, I forgot that equal sign. So how can we test that this is actually storing this? Well, if I go inside of here and I go ahead and switch this out and I say your orcs stats are, and I just copy these out, orc health, comma, or we want to go with plus here because we're concatenating that on there, orc movement, and then orc strength. So now I'm going to go ahead and save this, and I'm just going to run this and let's see what happens. Now you can see that it would be probably a lot better if we broke these up a little bit like this to space this out. And we could even go in here and say your orc stats are plus sign here, health, space, and it won't error out if you hit enter at a additional point, so we can shift this down here, and then we could even just say speed, and then I'm just going to copy this here, and I'm going to paste this in front of, oh, actually it looks like we already have one here, so I'm just going to copy strength here and then paste that in here. Now when I run that again, you can see your orc stats are health, 100, speed, and all that good stuff. So what we're doing here is we're actually creating an object here, and we're accessing variables that are in another class, this player class. Now these are in essence public variables because they're in the same file structure. So what we did is we created a new class and we created some new variables. And then we access those variables by creating a object of type player. And then we printed those to the screen. So in the next video, we'll take a look at probably methods or functions.